pleasure to introduce to you South Carolina's State Senator David Thomas. He is currently living in Fountain Inn with his wonderful wife, Fran. In 1979, he started his political career as a Greenville City Councilman. In 1984, he was elected to the South Carolina Senate. Mr. Thomas is currently the chairman of the Senate Banking and Insurance Committee and is a member of several other committees, two of which are Finance, Corrections, and Penology, and the Medical Affairs Committee. In 1999, he organized and founded the Litter Task Force. It is known as Palmetto Pride. This successful program is living up to Smiling Faces, Beautiful Places. Senator Thomas graduated at the University of North Carolina, Charlotte with a Bachelor of Science degree. He has a Master's of Divinity from Southwestern Baptist Theological Seminary, a Master of Arts from Texas Christian University, and a law degree from the University of South Carolina. Currently, he practices law at the law firm of Moore, Taylor & Thomas, right here in Greenville, South Carolina. Ladies and gentlemen, join me in welcoming Senator David Thomas.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Ms. Douglas. That was an excellent job. I found out that she is very interested in politics, right? And she's vivacious and bubbly, and that's the kind of people I like to be around because she keeps you up. So I've invited her to come to one of two places next year, and she's going to be an intern or a page or something one day, but either going to be in Washington or be back in Columbia again. You know, it's tough running against this quality of folks. I mean, these are strong, intelligent, really, I mean, hasn't this been edifying? So every time I go out and listen, I actually learn something, usually from each one of them. That's a good point. And it's an enthusiastic thing, because I've been around a while, and sometimes you go through cycles in life. And I have been in public office for a while. Now, you can be a good public official over the years, or you can be sort of mediocre and have sort of sat on your hands and hope nobody notices you too much as you just sort of sit there. We have in South Carolina a citizens government, because in the legislature it's part-time. You're there 3 days a week, 5.5 months out of the year, and hope that with all the many issues coming at you, that you can figure it out. And don't think it's real easy. I invite you, as a matter of fact, to come with me sometime and spend a few days, if you would like, you know, just watching what's going on. I often have somebody come that drives down with me and listens and watches to all the things that are happening, the multiplicity of things that you're faced with. It's like machine gun bullets coming at you sometimes. And fortunately, if you can have a good staff, that is real helpful, because if you're part-time, you're really dependent on really focusing and trying to catch on. Now, why is this applicable to what I'm talking about in terms of going to Congress, and why I should bring it up is because there's an experience aspect that is really helpful procedurally, understanding the nuances of law. It's really something that is significant. Background does help. Understanding water system issues, understanding local government, how it merges with the intricacies of state government. Now, you get to Washington, and this is important because all of that is a matrix that is real helpful as you light out trying to do something about the mess in Washington, D.C., and it is a mess. What's the nature of the disaster virtually that faces it? Is out of control federal government. We've let it get out of control because of many things that have happened, but without casting aspersions on the past, what we have to do is focus on the future. Now, young people, this is significant for you because you're going to be paying the bills of out of control Congress. Yet the problem is going to be not just out of control Congress for you in 3 or 4, 10 or 20 years. The problem is going to be us facing the problem of deficit spending and debt creation right now. So we're seeing a debt that 10 years ago was $5 trillion, now is approaching $15 trillion, and a mere 10 years from now is going to be well over $25 trillion, approaching $30 trillion, unless we turn it around. Now you might say, well, what does that mean exactly? Those are big numbers, from 5 to 30 in basically a 20-year period. What that means is you can't control the inflation that will come necessarily to pay that off, because the numbers are so big you have to pay the interest, not even the principal, just the interest. Now this can cascade, can become a very serious problem. For instance, let me ask you this of the young people. How many of your parents, you young folks, students, have credit cards? Raise your hand. It's not bad to have credit cards. Now, you might know how many credit cards they have. It might be 2. It might be 3. But what if it's, somebody's got a hand with 4 up. But what if it's 50? And what if on each of the credit cards, mom and dad have maxed out on the total credit? Then where would mom and dad's income be going? Where would it be going every month? It would be going to pay off the credit cards, right? That's sort of the situation that we're now in America. It's that big. It's a huge issue, and we've got to figure out a way to get it under control. The way you get it under control is you stop excess spending. Now, the liberals are going to want to tax and tax and tax to pay for all their programs. That's not the way to do it, because that is a negative towards the creative aspect of society, which should be capitalism, which should be creativity, which should be innovation, which should be investment. But if you take all that money to pay for government programs, then you don't leave anything for growth and the natural force that we have seen over 30 years with capitalism, which is expansive. So what we have to do instead is go back to the principles of limited government. That's what the founders envisioned. And you have less government, less of a nanny welfare state, and more individuals in control. And boy, is that ever in contradistinction to the Congress that now rules us today. How do you do it? By tough decision-making, coalition building of conservatives that have fire in the belly for what it's going to take, and it's going to take some dramatic cuts. It's going to take getting agencies under control, merging and eliminating agencies of federal government. It's going to take some radical, dramatic steps to save us all from a coming debt crisis that could destroy America. If we do not get control of Washington, Washington could very well destroy all of us. It could destroy America. So I put it to you that we're at a crisis time in American history. And I'm not trying to scare you young folks, because we faced crises before. So I will leave it with this positive note. Do any of you watch Fox Television? My favorite TV station. Fox. Any of you watch Hannity? Hannity is one of my very, very favorite guys. He sort of has a little mantra. Let not your heart be troubled. So through it all, as difficult as the times may be, we must strive toward optimism, but have a plan and work the plan. There must be a takeover of Congress by a new breed of congressmen who are activists, who are ready to fight the fight. And I put it to you, I'm the guy, and I have the experience to prove it. What I've done in Columbia as a reformer, I can do in Washington. I would appreciate your support, and you can find information on me back here. Thank you very much for letting us come. Lisa, you put together a good program, as usual. Thank you very much.